But yes, I am here with the lovely Mike Kelly, our analytics expert. And, you know, when a team is down 3-0 in a series, there's obviously a lot of things that they can do better. But when you look at the way this team has played through 3 games compared to the last 3 rounds, what specifically do you see that needs to improve?
Well, puck management, I think we've talked about it a lot. And the biggest reason Montreal is in the Stanley Cup final is because of puck management. And the biggest reason that they're down 3-0 is because of puck management. It's been a complete 180 for this team. And you go back to especially the last 2 rounds, Jackie, against Vegas and against Winnipeg, it was almost mistake-free for the Canadians. And in the Stanley Cup final, it's been an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
And the simplest way I can explain this is to show you this graphic right here. Goals scored against Montreal within 10 seconds of a turnover. In the last 2 series against Winnipeg and Vegas, 10 games, only happened 4 times. Turnovers that led to goals. In Tampa Bay, 3 games, 9 goals against. So in the Vegas series, it happened once in 6 games that a turnover led to a goal. 1 time. 3 times a game right now in the Stanley Cup final.
Mike, why you got to do this to Habs fans? That is a devastating graphic.
That is the simplest and most effective way I can explain this. And it's literally been 3 every single game. Cannot happen. And they've come at back-breaking times as well. Goals late in the game to really put it out of reach. Turnovers. This is a poor coaching decision with the matchup that led to a bad line change and a goal against. The goals that happened, I mean, the Coleman goal, it was 1-1 going into the third until just inexplicably poor mistakes. That's what's been killing the Montreal Canadiens. So they've got to get back to playing virtually mistake-free hockey, which they're capable of because they showed us this over 10-plus games in the playoffs. You can't gift Tampa Bay 3 goals a game on top of what they're going to create on their own, right?
Yeah.
So that, to me, is the biggest thing that has to change going into Game 4.
I think the Habs will look back at that Blake Coleman goal a lot when this is all said and done, because that was a game where they were the better team. They were putting a lot of pressure on the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they don't walk away with the victory, of course, because they have yet to win in this series. But we got to talk about goaltending. It was a big topic of conversation coming in. Andrei Vasilevskiy didn't have his best game in game number 3, but when you look at the goaltending matchup, is there an area where Vazzy is just outperforming Carey Price?
Everywhere. But we'll focus on...
Let's focus on one, okay? We can only beat up so much on these Habs right now.
No, but you know what? Carey Price can get back to a level that we've seen him play at. So I'm optimistic that he'll do that in Game 4. He's such a gamer, and he's a Hall of Fame goaltender. I think he can. The one area that's really hurt Carey Price, you look at save percentages from a few different areas here, both goalies in the Cup final. Obviously, overall, the save percentage in favor of Vasilevskiy. From the slot, it is almost 200 points better for Vasi, but that inner slot high danger area right in front of the net, it's over 200 points better for Vasilevskiy. Carey Price is stopping 2 out of every 3 shots from there. So he's allowed 5 goals on 15 shots from that most high danger area of the ice. I'm not beating up on Carey Price here because these shots are not shots you would say any goalie should have.
These are the toughest ones to stop. That's why they're coming from the sweet spot.
100%. Yeah. But that's the 2-on-0. That's the 2-on-1 where he
makes a bad turnover where Price is kind of left to dry.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the 2-on-1 where he makes the first save, but the rebound beats him. So the team in front of him has to be a lot better protecting that area as well. But Vasilevskiy's stopping those shots at a really high rate. He's stopping shots overall at a really high rate. It's not fair to ask Carey Price to have to do what he's going to have to do. But Montreal didn't get here with okay goaltending, right? He has to be that super elite goalie, and he hasn't been in the series.
Well, the Tampa Bay Lightning are 1 win away from winning their 2nd straight Stanley Cup. So we got to talk about Conn Smythe options here. And yes, the Tampa Bay Lightning have options in that area. That is how good they have been. Who do you like for the Conn Smythe?
I think it's a 2-horse race right now between Kucherov and Vasilevskiy, and Kuch has a 9-point lead over anybody in playoff scoring. Crazy, right?
It's disgusting.
It is.
It really is.
And you think about what he's done the last 2 years in the playoffs. He didn't win the Conn Smythe last year. I wouldn't have him as my first place vote this year because I think you got to give it to Vasilevskiy. What do you think?
Well, I think that this is a team that has not trailed in this entire Cup final, and that says a lot. And you do not put up a number like that with bad goaltending or even with average goaltending. You only do that with somebody that is bailing you out, and he bailed them out in game number 2.
Totally. And what impresses me so much about Vasi, other than the otherworldly numbers that you look at, I mean, goals against, he's 2nd to a guy who only played in 1 round. Save percentage, 1. Slot, number 1. Goals saved above expected. You want to get into the nitty-gritty, isolate that goaltending impact.
Love it.
Shocker, he's number 1. What really impresses me about Vasi, look what he does in those closeout games, right? We've talked about it, 4 straight shutouts, but the Florida series, shutout. The next series, shutout. Game 7 against the New York Islanders. Tampa Bay gets 1 goal in Game 7. All they needed, shutout.
Ridiculous.
So when you add all those things up, and in the last 30 years, only 2 Cup-winning goalies have had a better save percentage than what Vasilevsky has right now. Tim Thomas 2011, Jonathan Quick 2012. He's my guy. If they give it to Kucherov, have it, Mr. Kucherov. You've earned it as well. But
Sure.
my guy would be Vasi.
Tough choice for the voters, I would say, because both have just been absolute horses in this Stanley Cup final for the Tampa Bay Lightning. By the way, only 2 other teams in NHL history have gone front to back in the Cup final without trailing. We'll see if the Tampa Bay Lightning do that.